If we had the judiciary in Nigeria, why can't the NBA, the NJC, and the judiciary of Nigeria handle, say, someone like Mr. Malami, the Attorney General, who said soldiers never went to the Lekki toll gate? And they withdraw his license, take away his stand, sack him as they say, why can't we just allow the judiciary in Nigeria to function like the judiciary? And then why do we now have to bring it to England? How many cases will they attend to?
Yes, a very good question. I'm sorry that the audio quality didn't allow me to enjoy the gentleman's submissions, but I agree with him entirely. You see, the reality is this. We confuse form for substance. We simply, because something is called a democracy, we think we have a democracy. Simply because somebody is called a lawyer, we think that that person is a lawyer, i.e. a person of high intellect. The reality is this, unfortunately, and we must face it. Nigeria is in a state of lawlessness. Nigeria is a state of lawlessness. This is what we must face. And so therefore, you have people pretending to be in governance. Somebody wearing the title of Attorney General of the Federation, but no substance. Somebody wearing the title of President without substance. A country called a democracy, but in reality is a dictatorship. So we must stop confusing the appearance of things with the reality. We have to face the reality. The emperor has no clothes. That is the reality of Nigeria. All the talk of the giant of Africa. We are in actual fact the dwarf of this world. And the sooner we face up to realities and stop massaging our egos, the sooner we'll begin to make progress. So the reason why we can't rely on our court systems, because the corruption, people get obsessed, and to some extent they can understand it, obsessed with financial corruption, monetary corruption. But the real cancer is political corruption. If things do not run as they're supposed to, then you simply do not have the tools to arrest the financial manifestation of corruption, because the political instruments, institutes, establishments that you're supposed to use to arrest the decay in society have rotted to the core. So this is the answer to the gentleman. He is right. And in those circumstances, when all else fails, and all else has failed you, then you must use the available levers. You must apply the pressure wherever you can apply the pressure. And a critical part of the pressure that needs to be applied is on these governments, particularly the British government, the architect, as I said at the beginning, of Nigeria, to apply the pressure that the supports that they're given to sustain this nonsense, when they know the proper standards and they know that there are Nigerians there who can run that show properly, but yet, by all means possible, we're foisted election after election with these comedians masquerading as leaders. There's a word of difference between a manager and a leader. A manager manages things. A leader takes you somewhere.
Miss Dele, I love you are articulate and you are spot on. And I may just miss you because I'm looking at time and other topics we have to come to. But I can't allow this to go without asking you, because I'm going to change the topic very soon. Look at the case of the United States presidency, the presidential election. We have not yet received a concession the courts are doing what they believe is right. Will that have happened in Nigeria in case we have a dictator? And what do you think the courts will have done? And look at where they are right now.
Well, America has its issues, but not our problems. The reality in America, it really doesn't matter who they. In fact, Buhari could perform very well in America. Let me say that, and I say that with a serious face. Because why? Because things do not depend upon governance and governments to the same extent as they do in Nigeria. In Nigeria, all our eggs are in one basket, controlled by one person, sitting there in Abuja, deciding to speak when he chooses to speak. This is an emperor, it is not a president. It is an emperor. He chooses when he decides to come out and say something. And for the rest of the time, he's absent. There's no opposition that's actually putting him to task, holding him to account on a daily basis. So you see, America, the institution, America runs itself. It's almost like one of those, those trains that you take from the airports at Gatwick or Heathrow that are self-driven. These societies are self-driven. So it doesn't really matter who you put in office as governor. But in a country like ours, the driver is critical. And we end up with the characters that we ended up with. Is a disaster ahead, is a train crash. And you can see that in the currency. It is in free fall right now because the government has no vision, no ideas.